Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Management Studies, SOMS, Bachelor's Degree Programs, BBA in Retailing, BBA, Retailing, Diploma in Retailing, DIR, First Year, BRL 001 Overview of Retailing, Unit-4 Sourcing and Merchandising, 4.0 Objectives. After studying this unit, you should be able to explain the sourcing process of retailing, identity factors affecting international sourcing and factors involved in its negotiation, outline housing stocking of merchandise and concept of shrinkage, meaning and scope of merchandising, describe various factors affecting the merchandise mix, and label the pricing approaches and methods for setting retail prices. 4.1 Introduction. When you enter a retail store to buy a certain commodity, you get to see many different brands of the same commodity displayed on the shelves of the retail store. The branded and the non-branded variety of a single commodity can be really large. This means that the retailer negotiates with many vendors for each different commodity. This in turn ensures a better sale and a better loyalty from the customers, as they have a plethora of picks depending on their taste, desire and budget, and hence they keep coming back to a store which has the biggest range of goods and services. Therefore, to give maximum mileage to its venture, the retailers tend to negotiate with maximum number of vendors for their commodities. So, this concludes that merchandise sourcing is a very complex and a tedious process. The golden rule of sourcing is to buy quality merchandise at reasonable prices and then resell it to customers at reasonable prices too. Of course, such reasonable prices include a margin of profit as well. Sourcing is a critical function of retailing. In the process of sourcing, it is important that we keep a checklist while shortlisting the vendors for procurement. A retailer must develop a mechanism based on his business that indicates how much to order and when to order, the process that involves buying from different sources and making them available to the customer at convenient sizes at a proper price is known as merchandising. Merchandise which is displayed in the store arouses the attention of the customers, in turn develops an urge in the customers to buy. Therefore, we can say that merchandise is the core of retailing. Buying and selling of merchandise is the central retail function. Shrinkage is one of the risks faced by today's retailers. Without proper planning and strategy, a retailer cannot get success in sourcing and merchandising. Therefore, in this unit, we discuss the process of sourcing and factors that are affecting global sourcing. It also discusses the process of allocating display of merchandise. It covers shrinkage of merchandise. Further, it deals with different pricing techniques, methods for setting retail prices and tactics for fine-tuning of prices. 4.2 Sourcing process. Sourcing may be defined as the process where retailers negotiate with the suppliers to buy quality merchandise at a reasonable price and sell to the customers at a reasonable profit. The following are the steps involved in sourcing. Let us discuss them. Determining the categories. The retailer must first determine the categories in his store. Each category may have distinct features and therefore different points of attention for buying are required. Diverse categories of a supermarket or departmental stores need many vendors to supply the required product. For example, in a garment store we can see menswear, ladies' wear, kids' wear, etc., which are procured from different sources. 1. Use of Internet to gather data regarding categories. In Denland, Internet is emerging as the biggest alternative for data and information warehousing. However, this practice is still not very prevalent in India, but it is worth mentioning that seeing the pace of convergence logging to internet for such information is not far from the reality. Retailers post information about the prospective products categories on the various search engines like Yahoo, Google, etc., and gauge the number of inquiries by the web surfers. On the other hand, merchandisers may also put up information regarding such categories at various public forums and get a first-hand report on the interests of the customers. Based on such feedback, a retailer can then take a decision in this regard, identifying the vendor or sources of supply. It is common practice that the retailer, sourcing certain categories, approaches its authorized dealers. For instance, in departmental stores, products like detergents, toiletries, and cosmetics are procured from authorized dealers. According to their need, the retailers can depend on the dealers or can directly procure from the manufacturer by having their own supply chain, like big retailers. In such a model of sourcing, retailers heavily cut down on the intermediary commission and hence can price the commodities much lower than its MRP, maximum retail price. Such alluring prices attract and retain customers. Retailers like Big Bazaar and Subhiksha operates on such model of sourcing and merchandising. Some retailers may plan to go for global sourcing of their products. While going for international sourcing, the retailer has to be very sure about the rules and regulations of foreign trade, issues related to foreign currency and transport. As a retailer, once you decide to outsource merchandise internationally, you should be confident about the credibility of the supplier and the expected return on investment. 4.3 Factors affecting the global sourcing decisions. Sourcing may be national or international, depending upon the decision of the retailer after considering various factors. It is clear that the retailer may go for the national source or international source for procuring the different types of products. While opting for international source for procuring branded products, the retailer must keep in mind some of the factors which affect the sourcing decision. Let us discuss them in brief. Country of origin. While sourcing international products, retailers must always keep in mind the reputation of the country of origin as well as the costs involved and expected perception by the consumer. For example, electronic goods sourced from China are considered superior in quality and technology. Swiss watches are very popular among the customers as they are a mark of technology and style. Foreign currency fluctuations, as we know that currency exchange rates change from time to time. Therefore, while making global sourcing decision, a retailer has to be cautious of the foreign currency fluctuations. This is one aspect which makes the product expensive or cost-effective depending upon the fluctuations in the market. Moreover, it will be in the interest of the retailer to enter into a deal wherein he is supposed to pay at a fixed rate of currency exchange taxes. The tax policy is one of the important factors for taking the decision for international sourcing of the products. There are a host of taxes levied on export and import which makes the product expensive or reasonable depending upon the laws of the land. With the introduction of VAT, there is an effort to prevent double taxation. However, this exists in various forms in different countries depending upon the legal necessities of respective nations. 4.4 Comparative evaluation and selection of the supplier's sources. Once the retailer has identified the vendor's sources of supply, the next step is to evaluate and select the suppliers. This stage is critical as one has to be really very careful. While shortlisting vendors and eventual selection, the retailer should try to go through the following checklist. 1. How reliable is the supplier? The reliability depends upon the consistency of the supplier. 2. At what price the product is being offered. 3. What is the delivery lead of the supplier? Delivery lead time is the time between the creation of the order and receipt of the order. 4. Additional services provided by the supplier like credit period, free transport, etc. 5. Honesty and ethics of the supplier. 6. Possibility of having a long-term relation with the supplier manufacturer. 7. Financial strength of the supplier. 8. Risk involved, if any, in dealing with the supplier. The prime consideration in selecting the supplier is the fact that the products supplied by the vendor will be able to satisfy the needs of the customers. Once the retailer selects the supplier source for procuring a particular product through comparative evaluation for selecting of supplier, the retailer must undergo THC following process to execute the purchase of the product. Examination of merchandise. Since the customer is ever demanding and makes efforts to get the best quality, the retailer must be cautious. While comparing the various sources of merchandise, one must always evaluate the quality of merchandise. A retailer should always remember that even if a single unit of bad quality goes to the customer and is detected by him, then he may face a big loss. The retailer will not end up losing just one customer but many due to negative word-of-mouth publicity. Price negotiation. In any business, money saved is money earned. Therefore, every retailer likes to pay the least for the merchandise so that he can earn maximum profit. Depending upon the bargaining capacity of the retailer, the financial terms and conditions of the merchandise supply are agreed upon. A retailer would like to avail as many discounts as possible at all points of time. Discounts can be of various types like trade discounts. This is the reduction in price of the product supplied by the manufacturer. Such discounts are generally given to the wholesalers and retailers. Volume discounts based on the quantum purchased made by the retailer. Discounts are given on the total amount of purchase. Such discounts are given by the manufacturer to boost their sales on an annualized basis. However, one should remember that these discounts are given only if specific amount of purchases of goods is done within a specific period of time. Cash discounts. Cash discounts means a specific percentage of reduction is done if the retailer makes the payment within the stipulated time. Of season discounts, even to boost sales of the products when there is little or no demand for the product, such discount is offered. It is offered as an incentive to the retailer for supporting the manufacturer. Promotional discounts. Depending upon the policy of the manufacturer, a fixed percentage of purchase made by the retailer is given as a promotional discount. This discount is actually an amount given to the retailer for promotion of that specific manufacturer's plan. This amount comes very handy even for the manufacturer, since certain salient features of the promotional schemes can be laid down as stipulated by the manufacturer. All the terms and conditions are discussed and finalized at this stage. The latest in the Indian arena in the field of merchandise buying is the trend known as slotting allowance. This is the allowance paid by the supplier to the retailer to put his brand in few of the prime slots of the store. With more and more brands hitting the shelves every day, the store shelves are shrinking. Thus, the slotting allowances have become a relevant outcome of the present retail boom. Executing purchase. After the examination of merchandise, the retailer has to decide the purchase. He/she has got several options at his/her disposal. However, it depends upon the bargaining capacity of the suppliers, manufacturers and retailers and vice versa. While finalizing the purchase, the retailer has to decide when to take the title of the goods. He/she has to negotiate the credit period. He/she should also decide the quantity and the time of order, keeping in view the lead time and stocking facilities. Warehousing of merchandise. This is the last step in the sourcing of merchandise process. This involves various tasks like receiving the products, checking the invoice, verifying the goods received with goods ordered list, recording, adding them to stock, making payment and planning its entry in the stores. At this stage, the retailer should check damaged goods, unordered goods and any deficit goods. After discussing the sourcing process and factors affecting the process, let us examine the definition of merchandise and its main objectives. 4.5 Merchandising. The primary function of a retailer is buying from some sources and keeping it available to the customer at convenient sizes at a reasonable price. This process is termed as merchandising. Whenever you visit a retail store, you are on the search for products which fulfill your needs. Majority of the buying done by customers in a store is impulse buying because many times customers do not have a pre-planned list of products to be brought. It is the merchandise which is displayed in the store arouses the attention of the customers. This in turn develops an urge amongst the customers to buy. Therefore, merchandising is the core of retailing, and buying and selling of merchandise is the central retail function. Merchandising comprises planning as to what to purchase for the outlet, obviously to resale, how much to purchase and at what price to purchase. Thereon maintaining proper stocks and finally pricing them for selling purpose. In this process, a retailer may deal with a single type of product or different type of products. If different types of products are dealt in, then it is called as cross-merchandise. Therefore, maintaining the stocks of complementary goods along the main line is known as cross-merchandising. The objectives of merchandising are as follows. The core of merchandising activity is to make whatever is required to serve the target customer. While setting up merchandising objectives, a retailer must keep in mind the following factors. 1. Diversity in merchandise to meet the requirements of the customers. 2. Merchandise should be varied by meeting the changing fashions and market trends. 3. Suppliers' capacity to supply in time. 4. To meet the competitors' merchandising strategy. 5. Warehouse capacity and cost incurred in holding the inventory in the warehouse. Keeping in mind all the above objectives, retailers have to source the merchandise to serve the customers having different set of requirements. Thus, a chain store catering to the same type of target segment has a different set of assortment of products kept in its separate stores depending upon the geographic location and demographics of the place. So, it is important for a retailer to successfully plan for management of merchandise. Let us now discuss merchandise management, importance of merchandise budget and some of the constraint factors in merchandise management. 4.6 Merchandise management, sourcing. Under merchandising as discussed above, the primary function of retailing is to sell merchandise. Merchandise management is a process by which a retailer attempts to offer the right quantity of the right product at the right place and at right time and at the right price while meeting the retail firm's financial goals by generating the profits. Achieving these 5 rights is the key to success of merchandising. It requires effective and proper merchandise management. Merchandise management is the analysis, planning, procurement, handling and control of the merchandise investments of a retail operation. The merchandise control involves designing or planning the policies and procedures in such a way that the stated objectives or the goals have been achieved. The objectives range from the corporate strategic objectives, top management objectives, to the micro-level objectives, low-level management, regarding the merchandise assortment, stocking, and reorder. Merchandise budget is a financial tool for planning and controlling a retailer's Merchandise inventory investment. Now let us discuss merchandise budget and the constraint factors affecting it in detail. Merchandise budget is referred to as a financial plan that indicates how much to invest in product inventories, usually stated in rupees per month. Earmarking of merchandising budgets is considered to be an important component of the planning phase. Usually, a budget states the amount allocated for each product based on the preset profitability or other performance measures. In other words, merchandise budget is a financial tool for planning and controlling the retailer's merchandise inventory investment. 7R ensure profitable operations. The retailer must use a merchandise budget in which the sales, volume, stock levels, retail reductions, purchase orders and profit margins are planned and controlled. The four important components of merchandise budget plan are projected sales, inventory plan, estimated reduction, and estimated purchases. Constraining factors. As the consumer needs change, manufacturers have to develop new products by modifying it or leaving the old MTS as per customer's requisition. So, an optimal mix depends on the trading area, the retail store in operation and the retail format it has adopted, scale of operation and segment of market it is serving. The four constraints that should be considered by the retailer are 1. Budgetary constraint. A retailer has to work out the optimal merchandise mix for his customers on the basis of the resources available. In many cases, the financial resources available will not be sufficient to incorporate all three dimensions of variety, breadth and depth. These budgetary controls are universal, but the intensity may vary. However, retail outlets today, in the organized sector, avail an effective bargaining power against the suppliers and enjoy liberal support in making payments for the stock, and sometimes the retailer may make payments when they sell the products. 2. Selling space constraints. As the space available to a retailer is relatively axed, it must return a profit. If a retailer goes for depth or breadth, space requirement will increase. If variety of merchandise is to be stressed, then enough empty space is needed to separate the distinct merchandise lines. A retailer has to consider the warehouse space along with shelf space while deciding about the merchandise order. It is common knowledge that Indian retailers do not acknowledge shelf management in unorganized sector on the same lines the recognition received in the Western countries. 3. Turnover constraint. Turnover is an extremely important factor in buying and selling merchandise profitably. A good turnover rate is an indication of good management since turnover is the result of intelligent buying based on SWND, assortment planning and realistic estimation. With the increase in the depth of merchandise, more and more variants of the products are needed to be stocked to serve a large number of segments. Increasing competition of the customer spends and the raising costs squeeze profits. Improving turnover is one of the key ways to improve the profits. 4. Market environment constraints. It refers to the limitation on account of the target market residing area within walking or short time distance to reach the store. Consumers in the target market, their preferences and taste directs the development of optimal merchandise mix as the consumers are the final customers of the retail offer. Constraining factors make it difficult to maximize all dimensions of the merchandise mix. However, if a retailer is going to lose customers, he should not try to lose the less profitable ones by properly mixing the merchandise in terms of variety, breadth and depth within the budget, space, turnover and market environment constraints. After knowing the constraining factors, now it is essential to understand the relationship between the manufacturer and the retailer and also the supply chain management, which is an intrinsic part of retail operations, which has a major effect in determining the profitability of a retail store. 4.7 Vendor-retailer relation and supply chain management. Each retailer is depending on a set of suppliers for the supply of finished products to be resold to the customers by generating profits. Suppliers are critical participants of the total supply chain of the retailer. It is very essential that the retailer has complete information about the ability and limitations of each supplier. This would help him to plan his purchase of merchandise better from each of them. Retailers and vendors have a common cause. That is, both of them are interested in the sale of merchandise for their mutual benefit. Both the supplier and retailer have to work together. Retailer should be in a position to share vital information about consumers with vendor. On the other hand, vendor provides valuable assistance in terms of brand, credit, timely delivery as well as general information of the market to manufacturer, which is useful for effective production planning and control. Thus, sharing of information can prove to be a boon for both the parties. Different products come from different suppliers. They may be manufacturers, distributors, agents, etc. Types of suppliers. A retailer may procure the merchandise from one supplier or a combination of suppliers. Retailers are supposed to select an effective source of merchandise from various existing alternatives. Some of the options availed by the retailer are given below. Look at the figure 4.1, Supply Chain Management. An efficient coordination within the supply chain of an organization is known as supply chain management. A typical supply chain would include producers, agents or brokers, wholesalers, retailers, and consumers. A retailer must know all the key parties in the supply chain from promulgated producers to the end user. By understanding each party's goals, the retailer can strategically devise his supply chain plan keeping in mind the constraints, environmental issues, and factors related to product availability. The basic functions in supply chain management are planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, and controlling the merchandising process as a whole. Let us now discuss in detail planning. This is the first basic step for any merchandise manager to be successful in his endeavor. Based on the previous sales data, a sales forecasting chart is prepared. Further, based on the available resources of the store, the budgeting has to be done. The budget as well as the sales data helps the buyers plan what to buy and what are the other financial limitations for the present year's purchase. Organizing. The merchandise manager has to organize the merchandising process, which starts with collecting the sales forecasting data and then proceeding on to the budget. Further, all the activities related to merchandising planning are to be initiated and seen that they work to achieve organizational goals. Merchandising being the most important function of the organization, organizing the process is an essential function. Directing. It is the responsibility of a merchandise manager to not only guide the buyers regarding what and how to purchase, but also to train them to work efficiently. It is essential on the part of the buyers to be vigilant about the quality and price aspects. Merchandise manager has to direct from time to time as per the market situations. Coordinating. The essence of merchandising lies in coordination. The merchandising manager needs to coordinate with various people to achieve the required results. A retail store requires many products at any given point of time. This, in turn, is handled by many buyers. An efficient merchandising manager needs to coordinate with all the buyers as well as the seller parties. All these activities run parallel to each other. Efficient coordination is therefore essentially needed. Controlling. at any given point of time multiple factors influence the business of a retailer. Therefore, it is possible that a retail store is unable to achieve its targets in merchandise performance due to such factors. It is the duty of the merchandise manager to look into the reason and apply control. Corrective measures taken in time can minimize losses to the store and at the same time may be instrumental in maintaining goodwill of the firm. 4.8 Allocation of merchandise to stores. Procurement and reselling of merchandise is the basic function of the retailer. A good merchandising strategy keeps a watch on diversity in requirements of the customers. Merchandise planning is therefore the most important step of merchandising. Besides other factors, the most important aspects which influence merchandising decisions are the financial objectives. Issues like assortment planning, price points, etc. are based on the financial objectives. After the merchandise is received, the next main task is to allocate the products to different stores belonging to the same chain. While allocating merchandise to different stores, retailers generally use the historical sales information. However, it is very important to pay due attention to the current supply and demand situation so as to nail a proper inventory situation. The retailers also have to keep in mind the geograph-C and demographic factors influencing each of the stores. It means that due to the concentration of the specific community or people of specific region in a particular area, demand for specific category of products rises in a specific season or month due to some festival or custom. Therefore, the demand for that specific category of product will be more in that particular store than the other members of the chain. One factor which plays an important role while allocating merchandise is the generation of percentage of total sales. Each store has to keep adequate stock to generate confidence in the customers. It has been generally felt that understocked stores attracts lesser number of customers. Under any circumstances, customers must not feel that just because the store is relatively small in size or is not doing well, therefore, it is not well stocked. The retailer wants to generate sales through a push strategy, then he has to obviously keep large quantities of the stock. On the other hand, if the strategy is disturbed once the demand is generated by the customers at the store level. 4.9 Shrinkage. It is the reduction in inventory caused by shoplifting, misplacement or damaging of merchandise. Such shrinkages can be measured by comparing purchase records with available inventory physically in the store. Depending upon the shrinkage, decision to source merchandise is influenced. Quantity-wise, shrinkage through customer and employee theft has become an alarming problem for a majority of retailers. Stealing of merchandise from the stock area as well as receiving area is common, hence steps should be taken to minimize such happenings. A retailer has to realize that the cost of shoplifting affects the bottom line of the organization. Costs of shoplifting can always make the difference between the retailer earning high profits and a marginal profits. While we are discussing shrinkage, we must not forget the scope of shrinkage in transit. There have been instances that goods have disappeared while the goods were in transit in small quantities to avoid recognition in the first instance by the retailer. Here, the pilferage can be between the vendor and the transporter. To avoid such thefts, the retailer must go only for credible transport agencies. Moreover, it is important that the vendor also shares responsibility in this regard. This, however, has to be communicated to the vendor at the time of executing the contract of purchase. Therefore, utmost care has to be taken to avoid shrinkage so that profits are maximized. 4.10 Retail pricing objectives and approaches. Every retailer needs to understand the price sensitivity of customers that form his target segment. This price sensitivity is based on various personal, socio, or geographical factors that present a major challenge for retailers while setting prices. Keeping this in mind, the following points can be remembered while evolving the pricing strategy. One needs to know their customers' desire for different products and whether price is an important issue in their purchasing decision, or a price range that people will pay for the product need to be established. In ilat is the high and low price that the merchandise will have to fall within for someone to buy the product, or consider an APT pricing strategy which would be compatible with the store's overall retail marketing mix that includes merchandise, location, promotion and services. Pricing techniques. Profitability of a retail business is influenced by two factors. One, the profit margin on the offerings that are sold, and second, the cost involved in the selling of merchandise. These two factors directly influence the pricing of the merchandise of the stores. The economy-conscious consumers look for low-price merchandise, whereas status-oriented customers are lured by prestige brands and customer services more than the prices, as the convenience-seeking consumers, on the other hand, are inclined to pay premium for such benefits as the location of the store, time taken to reach the shop, etc. Therefore, understanding of the customer segment is important for the retailer in evolving the pricing strategy. Philosophy of the store's external factors. Influencing the pricing strategy, apart from the internal factors like costs incurred, desired profit margins, etc., there are also some external factors influencing the pricing strategy, which can be mainly divided. 1. Customers. A retailer has to understand the price sensitivity of the customers of the target segment based on various personal, social or geographical factors. The consumer segments can be further subdivided as under economic. These segment customers shop at the lowest PNCs available and don't differentiate on the store image, service, etc. B. Convenience oriented. These types of customers prefer nearby locations and spend minimum time for shopping. C. Image oriented. These customers are less price conscious and more image oriented. They look for prestigious value for their shopping. D. Variety oriented. These customers look for diversity in the product category they purchase. So, they tend to prefer retailers who have a wide range and assortment to choose from. They look for fair prices. E. Loyalty oriented. These type go to familiar stores where the retailer recognizes them. They will pay slightly above the average price, or on the contrary, they may look for discounts since they have been loyal to the retailer. Indian customers generally look for personalized transactions. Figure 4.2. Customer segments. 2. Suppliers. It may happen that retailers and manufacturers have different objectives, which leads to conflict between the two. Both the retailer and supplier, manufacturer, like to have control and want to price the products or services according to their own image, goals and objectives. Apart from the manufacturers or wholesalers, the other suppliers to the retailer are his employees, landlords, suppliers of fixed assets, etc. 3. Competitors. In most cases, competitors are the most influential factor determining the price. The competitive environment affects the freedom of the retailer to fix prices to great extent. Competition can range from being perfect competition to a monopoly. A perfect competitive market is the most competitive market imaginable. 4. Government. Legal issues. Legal issues affecting the retail environment can be broadly divided into two. One that affects the buying of merchandise, such as price discrimination and vertical price fixing, and the other that affects the customer, horizontal price fixing, predatory pricing, and bait and switch tactics. Price discrimination. This happens when a vendor sells the same product to two or more customers at different prices. In this case, the two customers can be different retailers who get the same merchandise from a manufacturer or wholesaler at different prices. This can happen because large chains that purchase huge volume of merchandise have strong bargaining power and CQN hence force suppliers to offer them better prices. Large retail chains buy direct from manufacturers and perform many of the functions performed by the wholesalers, so they demand lower prices like those offered to wholesalers, which make it very difficult for smaller retailers to compete. Vertical price fixing. This involves agreement to fix prices between parties at different levels of the same marketing channel, e.g. retailer and wholesalers. The agreements are usually to set prices at levels suggested by the manufacturers. Horizontal pricing. It involves agreements between retailers that are in direct competition with one another to have the same prices. Horizontal price fixing is always illegal since it suppresses competition and often raises the cost to the customer. Predatory pricing. This means establishing merchandise prices to drive competition away from the marketplace, and it is illegal. A retailer can, however, sell the same merchandise at different prices at different geographical locations if the cost of sale or delivery is different. 4.11 Methods for setting retail prices. Following are the various pricing strategies followed by the retailers. 10 Meet their short-term and long-term objectives. Everyday low pricing, EDLP. This strategy entails continuity of retail prices below MRP mentioned on the goods, in other words, at a level somewhere between the regular prices at which the goods are sold and deep discount price offered when a sale is held. In case of EDLP, these low prices are stable and not subjected to a one-time sale. Following are the benefits of EDLP pricing technique. Less reliance on price reduction to compete. EDLP provides the customers with the satisfaction that they are paying a fair price for the product and they tend to buy more frequently instead of waiting for most beneficial time when sale takes place, which is common in high-low pricing. Reduced advertising. Since the prices are stable in EDLP, the retailer need not advertise frequently. In case the retailer drops his prices during sale for a limited period, he has to advertise the sale to inform customers to make the sale more popular. Improved customer service. Stable prices also means the stable flow of customers. Due to this stable flow, the salesmen are able to attend the customers properly. Unlike in a sale where the inflow of customers is unpredictable. More rush is expected during the period of sale, during which time customer service suffers since there are not enough salespeople to attend to customers. Better inventory management. EDLP reduces large fluctuations in demand that one experiences in high-low pricing. So, retailers can manage their inventory more efficiently. Fluctuations are also experienced in EDLP due some factors like festive seasons, but round the year the fluctuations in sales are much less. High-low pricing. High-low pricing, as the name indicates, means that the retailer changes his prices based on seasons. In high-low pricing, retailers offer prices that are sometimes above the EDLP, but they reduce prices during periods of sale and use advertisements to promote the frequent sales. A sale is organized at the end of the season to serve basically two purposes. 1. Goods that have not sold get disposed of. Otherwise, extra handling and storage expenses have to be incurred in respect of these goods. Second, the sale provides an opportunity for a different target segment to visit the stores. This segment is not very product conscious and would compromise on the designs, color etc. but want to buy at a cheaper price. High-low pricing strategy is used by premium departmental stores selling apparel products. It is also used by companies selling premium consumer durables like refrigerators, TVs, home theater systems etc. These companies introduce latest range of products at high price to sell to consumers who wish to purchase latest generation products. Same merchandise can be used to target different segment customers. The retailer uses price skimming to target customers of different segments. The products which are sold at premium prices at the introductory time are sold at a discounted rate during sales. Thus, the same set of goods can be used to target various segments of the market. The merchandise sells at a high price at the beginning of season or when it is in fashion. It sells at a lower price at the end of the season and when out of fashion to a different set of customers looking for bargain price. Enthusiasm is created among customers. A store following high-low pricing often becomes the talking point in the neighborhood. Customers look upon it to know the fashion trends. It also draws attention when it promotes sales. The sales pull crowd and generate excitement. During sale, the retailer CM also use other supporting activities to create excitement and increase impulsive purchases. 4. Image of quality is created. The stores offer merchandise in fashion at high price at the beginning of the season or when the product is newly introduced. This creates a premium image for the store. The customer coming during sale knows that the original price of the merchandise he seeks to purchase was high and that confirms his faith in quality. Loss leader pricing. Retailers sometimes price particular fast-moving products at a lower price to attract the customers to the stores. Once the customers are in the stores, they can be persuaded to buy more profitable products. Sometimes the fast-moving products are sold at a cost price or even at a loss. So these are called as loss leaders. If the sales of the other profitable products are insufficient to cover the losses incurred on the sales loss leaders, then this strategy can backfire. Hypermarkets like Big Bazaar and Giant often sell popular or daily consumed products like sugar, rice etc. at low prices to attract customers to the store. Skim pricing. Price skimming is a pricing strategy in which a retailer sets a relatively high price for the product or service at first, then lowers the price over time. It allows the firm to recover its shrunk costs quickly before competition steps in and lowers the market price. This pricing strategy is similar to high-low kissing strategy. Penetrating pricing technique of setting a relatively low initial entry price, a price often lower than the eventual market price. The expectation is that the initial low price will secure market acceptance by breaking down existing brand loyalties. Penetration pricing is most commonly associated with the marketing objective of increasing market share. Rather than short-term profit maximization, the retailer following this strategy offers merchandise of different quality at specific but predetermined prices. Once set, the prices may be held constant over a period of time, and changes in market conditions are adapted to by changing the quality of the merchandise. A limited number of predetermined price points are set at which merchandise may be offered for sale. 59 rupees and 50 paise, 79 rupees and 50 paise, 99 rupees and 50 paise, etc. Psychological pricing. It is a method of setting prices intended to have a special appeal to consumers. Prestige pricing, reference pricing, odd-even pricing, and traditional pricing are all different types of psychological pricing. Prestige pricing. Prestige pricing uses high prices to convey a distinct and exclusive image for the product. Premium perfumes are often sold using this strategy. The premium price is associated with prestige and makes the customer seek this merchandise. 2. Reference pricing. It uses consumers' frame of reference that is established through previous experience of purchasing the product. For example, a customer may have formed certain expectations about price for footwear or apparel which act as a reference point. 3. Odd-even pricing. Retailers often set prices in odd numbers 99 rupees and 50 paise or Rs 499.95 to denote lower price which may imply a good deal for the customer, or set prices in even numbers, e.g. 100 rupees or 500 rupees to imply higher quality. Bata uses this approach to price footwear. Gives bundled pricing, under bundling pricing, 2 or more different products or service are bundled together and offered at a fixed price. Price bundling is used to increase both unit and rupee sales by bringing traffic into the stores. It is also sometimes used to move slow-selling products by bundling them with popular products. Preemptive pricing. Preemptive pricing is a strategy which involves setting low prices in order to discourage or deter potential new entrants to the retailer's market, and is especially suited to markets in which the retailer does not enjoy any market privilege and entry to the market is straightforward. 6. Extinction pricing. Extinction pricing has the overall objective of eliminating competition and involves setting very low prices in short term in order to undercut competition or alternatively repel potential new entrants. The extinction price may, in short term, be set at a level lower than even the supplier's own cost of production, but once competition has been extinguished, prices are raised to profitable levels. Only retailers dominant in the market and in a strong financial position are able to survive the short-term losses associated with extinction pricing strategies and benefit in the longer term. 7. Perceived value pricing. It is a method of pricing in which the seller attempts to set the price at the level that the intended buyers value the product. It is also called as value-in-use pricing or value-oriented pricing. If the perceived value is high, the retailer can charge a premium price for the product. 8. Demand-oriented pricing, a method of pricing in which seller attempts to set the price at the level that the intended buyers are willing to pay. It is also called as value-in-use pricing or value-oriented pricing. 9. Fixed and variable pricing. Most firms use a fixed price policy, i.e. they examine the situation, determine an appropriate price, and leave the price fixed at that amount until the situation changes, at which point they go through the process again. TB, alternative is variable pricing, a form of price discrimination characterized by individual bargaining and negotiation and typically used for highly differentiated items such as real estate, unbranded garments, etc. 4.1 To let us sum up. In this unit we have discussed the importance of sourcing process and the factors influencing it. We have discussed the steps to be followed by a retailer in evaluating and selecting the merchandise. We discussed the importance of vendor relationship and supply chain management. The definition of merchandise and its allocation to the stores and merchandise management is covered in detail. The importance of pricing and different pricing strategies is also discussed in detail. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.